Yo, what's up guys, NLW here, back again with another episode of the NLW podcast. Got a lot to talk about today, including Dolph Ziggler becoming NXT champion, of course, Jeff Hardy becoming All Elite, and all the goings on in the world of wrestling, as well as some updates as to what I'm working on within NLW. But before I also get into the podcast, just want to quickly mention that this week I'm also going to be releasing a couple of new videos, and I'll be talking about a new series on the way coming very soon, so stay tuned to listening to that. But we'll start off this podcast with what I always start it off with, and that's what I'm working on. At the moment, what I'm doing at the moment, I'm working on Raw and SmackDown Rebooked, the finale episodes. So by the time this podcast is up, you will have seen Raw Rebooked, hopefully, and SmackDown Rebooked. The finale of that will be this Friday. So kind of something that a lot of people have been asking me is why I'm stopping Raw and SmackDown Rebooked. I kind of went over it a little bit in the podcast last week, but I'll kind of reiterate what I'm going for. Essentially, because they keep releasing superstars, it's difficult to keep up with writing stuff. So for instance, in Raw Rebooked, I've got Keith Lee as kind of one of the focal points, but then he's already in AEW now. So yeah, there's all sorts of different stuff that I wanted to do with the series. However, it's just a case of me finding it a little bit stale at the moment, and the product in WWE is kind of stale at the moment. So rebooking that isn't as fun because there's not as many wrestlers to work with, I should say, and not as many fresh matchups, I'd like to say. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm stopping it, just because it's not really fun to do anymore. But I am replacing it with a new series called NLW Ruthless, and this will be a Ruthless Aggression type fed, where I take the Jax figures, sort of like my series with Spam Wrestling last year, where we had our own like sets of rosters. I'm going to be doing that for Raw and SmackDown like every 2 weeks probably. So I'll film a bunch of matches for that and release them. It'll kind of be like Raw Rebooked and SmackDown Rebooked, except probably more to have like less still photography and more kind of sequences, which I know you guys like. So that's going to be coming out probably like start of April. And in terms of what else I'm working on, I'm also working on getting Metal Wrestling started. So I've been writing a bunch of matches for it. So I've already written out the scripts for Cody versus Cena and Liger versus Punk, and I'm planning on shooting that very, very soon, as well as some NLW 24/7 stuff. I've got some ladder matches that I'm wanting to film very soon for that. You know, the problem with NLW 24/7 is sometimes it's fun to do, like if it's an idea brought forward by one of the guys on Patreon, then it's fun to kind of write and animate that. But if it's just kind of my own personal stuff, like if I'm writing a storyline for NLW 24/7, it's not as fun, if you see what I mean. Like, I'll get some really cool ideas from a bunch of different people on Patreon, like a bunch of cool match ideas. But when it's something that I'm trying to kind of thread together, it's not as interesting. So that's why I enjoy doing the Patreon stuff over just standard NLW 24/7 episodes. Although, you know, they may not do as well view-wise, but that's just kind of something that a lot of YouTubers go through, I guess, and a lot of people in the community go through is, you know, do I want to put this out? Will it get attention? At the end of the day, really, one piece of advice I can give is if you're not having fun doing it, don't do it, and forget about the views and kind of what kind of reaction you're going to get to it. But if you are enjoying it and you are having fun with it, even if it doesn't get that many views, keep going with it, because I love NLW 24/7, and I know there are people out there who do like it. So yeah, it might not get the views that like the main series gets, but it's still fun to do. So I'm going to keep that going for the foreseeable future. But Raw and SmackDown Rebooked, yeah, just not fun for me anymore. So that's why I've stopped that, and I'm replacing it with the Ruthless Aggression era kind of series. Also other stuff I'm working on, like I'm making a bunch of customs at the moment. So I've got a plan to make 2 CM Punk AEW Unrivaled from like 2006 era, from when he came into ECW. I've also got an RVD on the workbench that I'm going to make into a No Mercy 2001 version of him. So I think that'll be pretty cool. As for what else I'm working on, really, I'm not too sure. I will be releasing a video on Thursday, hopefully, where I go over what I had planned for Raw and SmackDown Rebooked, like where the storylines were heading before I kind of cut the cord on the series. So That will be coming up Thursday, and I've also got a bunch of figure hauls that I'll be releasing over the next couple of days. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm working on at the moment. Not really too much to kind of update you on. In terms of wrestling figure news, not much on the new figure front. Like I personally have bought a couple of figs, like Randy Orton Fan Takeover, and a couple of ROH figs, and of course the Super 7, but I'll be releasing a couple of videos of those in the coming weeks on this channel, so look out for that. In terms of other figure news, it's not really figure news, but it is kind of pick-fed, vid-fed news. I just want to gush about the Multiverse Pool Royal Rumble that Stage Creator brought out, and I don't usually kind of talk about matches that I enjoy in the pick-fed sphere. I would like to do that more as the kind of weeks go by on this podcast, but I just want to say, such a fun match, and it really, I don't want to say it motivated me to kind of go and think about more outside the box ideas, but it definitely was something that as a kid I would have loved, and even as an adult now, I thought it was fantastic. It was the perfect mix of serious and stupid, and that's why I loved it, and I can't imagine how difficult it must have been to film in that pool, but they managed to pull it off, and a really, really fun match. The style, I will admit, a couple of years ago, that kind of vid-fed style wasn't for me, because there were a bunch of channels that did it, and it wasn't really speaking to me, but that style has evolved since then into something that's really, really fun to watch, and I think that, credit where credit's due, Stage Creator, man, such a fun match, and I want to see where this new series goes from here, because it's really an interesting idea to take all of these different kind of characters from different stuff and just have fun with it. That's what pick fedding is supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun, and really quite inspiring, really, because you can just do anything really, and have it come out so well. I was worrying the whole time, oh my god, did they drop the camera in or what? But yeah, very fun match. Hope to see more of that kind of style in the future. But if there's any other feds that you want me to react to and kind of talk about on this podcast, do let me know, because I do enjoy talking about other feds, and I'm not going to slander anyone. That's not really my game, at least publicly. But yeah, I'm very much looking out to broaden my horizons, really, when it comes to videos involving wrestling figures and stuff. So yeah, if there's anything you want me to react to, do let me know. We'll move on to wrestling news now, and we'll start with the big news of the week, which is Jeff Hardy becoming All Elite. He debuted before he was going to save his brother. Of course, he had to get in his little Jeff Hardy dance, because otherwise, how would people know that he's excited to be there? So that was a bit silly, but I did like it. I thought it was fun. So yeah, the Hardy Boys back together on AEW, kind of like a last hurrah, perhaps, for them. I would love to see a bunch of matches from them. There's so many cool dream matches on the horizon, including probably a match with Sting and Darby Allin down the road, maybe even at Double or Nothing, who knows. But yeah, I know I say a lot of people saying that the AEW roster is too stacked, but got to remember now they got Ring of Honor, so they can send a bunch of people there, and they've also got just so much talent that they can rotate, that it's crazy, man. I'm very much interested in what Jeff Hardy's going to do with Matt, maybe even a singles run here or there. I think that they're going to do him justice. Hopefully it's not a Jay Lethal situation where he's wrestling on Dark every week, but I don't think that's going to happen. So yeah, big ups to Jeff Hardy, man. Really happy that he's in a company that hopefully will treat him better in terms of booking wise. So yeah, obviously big fan of Jeff Hardy, and can't wait to see what he does in AEW. And we'll also talk about something big that happened this week. We had Dolph Ziggler becoming NXT champion in quite a weird move. I've seen both sides of the debate, and I can kind of understand where people are coming from. Me personally, I don't care, because I don't really watch NXT anymore, so it is what it is. Apparently they want Braun Breaker to have his big moment on a WrestleMania show, but allegedly he's going to be moved up to the main roster soon, which, I don't know, I feel like Braun, you don't want to push him too hard, or even though he is clearly one of the better talents that they've got down there, so maybe pushing him too hard right out of the gate would be a bit silly. I know that I heard in an interview he was told you're a babyface, you need to smile more, which I completely disagree with. There is no, you don't need to smile. Like, it just makes you come across as corny and stupid. I think that kind of like stoic, expressionless, like pitbull that he is as a Steiner is much better than him kind of being happy-go-lucky and turned into another white meat babyface, because WWE just don't need that right now. It's again the same thing that they did to Drew McIntyre. Like, I think he's still great, but they really cut him off, I should say, by having him just be this smiley, like corny joke cracking guy that they want all baby faces to be in WWE. I don't know, man. But yeah, hoping that Bron Breakker gets a massive push and can kind of be pushed into kind of a main event sphere if he's on the main roster. But I feel like he should be in NXT a little bit longer if he's going to kind of develop a little bit more. But Dolph winning the NXT title, I don't know. I don't care. He's a lot of people are a fan of him still. I kind of jumped off the Dolph train a while ago, personally. But that's not because of him. It's just because of WWE booking, innit? But yeah, so maybe we can get some cracking matches out of him in NXT. I think that'd be cool. But that's that news. We also had a call-up from NXT to the main roster. Butch is now on SmackDown. Who's Butch, you ask? Butch, you know Butch. The Butcherweight. Pete Dunne, of course, on the main roster. I love the team with Ridge Holland, Pete Dunne, and Sheamus. I think it's great. But the name Butch? Oh, come on, man. Call him like Pete or Dunn or something. I know Pete would have been stupid and it probably would have been crapped on as much, but I don't know. Just keep him as Pete Dunne. You've got Ridge Holland there, just because he's got two names. Why can't Pete Dunne have two names? You could call him, I don't know, Pete would be stupid, but it's better than Butch because you know him as Pete. Or or call him Bruiser. Call him Bruiser because he's the Bruiserweight. I don't know. Stupid. These name changes are dumb, but I don't know. Like, good to see him on the main roster at least. And we'll touch on kind of what happened in that match in a little bit because it's something I want to get to in more depth. Well, not more depth, just kind of want to say it in a different part. So we've got some more wrestling news as well. Scorpio Sky, the new TNT champion after beating Sammy Guevara on Dynamite. So Scorpio, I don't know if he's going to lose it to Wardlow next week or if MJF's going to beat him or what, but it feels like this title change is about a year too late. It should have happened maybe last summer, but still happy for Scorpio, man. Like, I hope he has a run with the title. I don't think that Wardlow should beat him for it just yet. I feel like Scorpio has a lot to offer. It really needs to be built up a little bit more. More news as well. We got Cody, who by the time of this coming out may or may not have been at Jacksonville on Raw. If he has and he's facing Seth Rollins at Mania, great. If not, don't know what's in store for the future for him or Seth Rollins. But yeah, I'm not going to talk about Cody too much because obviously this podcast is recorded on the Monday before Raw. So who knows what's happened. I'll talk about it more next week when we know what Cody's situation is. But after that wrestling news, we'll kind of move on to match and wrestler of the week. And actually, before we go on to that, I just want to give shout outs to Scott Hall and his family. Like, horrible, tragic situation that's going on there. All I'll say about it is Scott Hall, really one of the greats of the new gen, and kind of really did pioneer a style of like cool heels in wrestling, which is really still being felt today. You can see the influence that Scott Hall's had on the whole industry. Unrivaled charisma, should have been a world champion, but and also I will say as well, you don't want to get bogged down into too much of the personal stuff, but it is quite inspiring to see how he has turned his life around for the most part in the past couple of years with DDP and all that help, being inducted into the Hall of Fame and staying sober for a very long time. So big ups to Scott Hall because he managed to turn his life around when many others in his situation wouldn't be able to. But yeah, strong guy, very influential in the wrestling business. He's going to be missed so much. Obviously I'm recording this on the Monday and Kevin Nash has made the unfortunate announcement that they're going to be, pulling the plug on him. It's really sad news, and you can tell how much it's kind of pains Nash and obviously his family as well. Thoughts with them, but yeah, like Scott Hall, great wrestler, man. Inspiring kind of turnaround comeback story for him. So yeah, he will be missed. So a little bit lighter news now. We'll go on to match and wrestler of the week, and this is also kind of sad in a way. Not obviously not as sad, but still sad to see. I'll give my wrestler of the week to Big E, just because of the fact that he broke his neck and has been so kind of caring and understanding, and to be like, to sit in his hospital bed and say, don't worry about me, guys, I'll be fine. Like, just such a positive, uplifting guy. Whether his career's over or not, it really doesn't matter at this point. To me personally, I would rather him be healthy and happy. And luckily, it's not going to need surgery, and it's like a 12-week turnaround. So, very, very scary situation, but all's well on that front at least. If he doesn't wrestle again, he's still a great asset to the company. But again, don't want to speculate on that. Just want to say, hope to see Big E back in a ring, because he is one of my favourites personally. Would love to see him get another title run, like a proper one this time. But yeah, Big E, send him my love as well. Great athlete and great talent. In terms of match of the week, I can't really think of that many great matches that have been this week. I know that the NXT triple threat with Breaker, Ciampa and Dolph, I've heard rumblings that was pretty good, but I haven't seen it, so I can't really give it match of the week. I'll give it to Hangman and Dante, just because that's the only match I can really think of the top of my head. It was a little bit short, but still, it did showcase Dante in a good way. And Hangman as well as a babyface, really getting pushed forward. I was a little bit worried when he was getting booed at Revolution, but it does seem like people are back on the Hangman train, so will be interesting to see who he defends the title against at Double or Nothing. I know we're like 2 months out from that, so a lot can change. Who knows though? Who knows? But yeah, Hangman Dante going to be my match of the week. So we'll go on to the finale of this podcast, where it's the NLW Updates, the Patreon Shouts Out, and Question of the Week. So first of all, in NLW Update news, of course, Raw and SmackDown rebooked their finales. Going to be this week, as I said earlier. NLW Ruthless will be taking its place, as I mentioned in my Jax Collection video on this channel. So that will be similar to Raw and SmackDown rebooked, except with Jax figures and Ruthless Aggression rosters and arenas. And I'm going to be setting that up very soon. In terms of NLW 24/7, that'll be coming out this week with the fallout from Fight Club, and also another NLW update. Hoping to get Cringe God on the podcast next week to talk about Fight Club. Just scheduling conflicts right now, preventing that from happening this time. But this week on NLW 24/7, I'm planning on filming a bar fight between Walter and Damian Priest, which should be a lot of fun. I hope you guys do check that out on the main channel. And this Saturday as well will be the fallout from NLW 102. What happened after the show when the Ministry were in the ring, what happened with The Undertaker, what happened with the recently debuting Evil. All of that stuff will be covered this Saturday. And that's really all that's coming on the main channel, at least. On this channel, on NLW Figs, Thursday, there's going to be a video where I I reveal what would have happened on Raw and SmackDown Rebooked had I continued the series, and then probably Sunday will be like a Figure Halls video or something like that, so stay tuned for that. We've also got some Patreon shouts out, so I'll go through them here as I do every week. We've got Clarence Morris III, John, Cringe God, Remy Montoya, Anthony Hill, Brady Babcock, Brandon Furman, Casey Hellschool, Cupid, Devin Dowlin, Flynn Lamkin, Cameron Joyner, PTW Animations, Ryan McCarthy, ES Productions, Outros World, and a new patron, I will reveal their name right now, Kid Z4P, Kid Zap, whatever you want to be called. Thank you for signing up to the Patreon. Really appreciate you joining, and everyone here, to be honest. Great news that the Patreon is still going strong and you guys are still supporting this channel. And if you are on the Patreon, just wanted to let you know that if you want to get a discount code for 25% off on the NLW store, it'll work anytime that you're a member of the Patreon. Just give me a message and I'll give you a custom code that you can use for the Patreon, for the NLW store, I should say. And speaking of the NLW store, I've got a discount code at the moment that runs until Tuesday, so I don't know if it'll work right now. But if there is anything you want to buy on the NLW store, just message me and I can probably get you like a 10% discount or something like that. Just like as we're getting some not teething problems, but just kind of settling into the NLW store, because there's a bunch of stuff on there that I've kind of made, and some of it is, it helps the channel if you buy something and you can rep the NLW merch. So yeah, the link to that will be in my main channel bio, hopefully in the description of this video as well. But yeah, you'll be able to find the merch store for NLW. Just go in, and if you can't find it, let me know. I'll give you the link. So that's that for the shouts out. But I also want to go into the questions. Let's see. Perhaps we'll go for a question from... Let's have a look. I've got a bunch of these here. So Venom Lee 2003 asks, could you make an MMA match like AEW did? Maybe like Brock Lesnar versus Conor McGregor. You know what? I do want to make an MMA match. In fact, I kind of hinted at it a while back where I had Conor McGregor on Eric Bischoff's podcast. Some of you may have seen it, others not. But essentially, I kind of planted seeds for him having a UFC match against Uriel Faber. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm sorry. I'm not a massive UFC mark, so I'm not sure. But I do want to film kind of like highlights of a cage match between McGregor and Faber, and that'll be up on the main channel in probably like a month or so. And that'll kind of feature kind of like a confrontation between him and Punk as well, to kind of build to that match. So that will be coming actually soon. So in terms of what other MMA matches I want to do, those MMA figures, those UFC figures are really cool. And obviously I've got the likes of Shamrock and more those kind of guys. And obviously just had Fight Club come out for NLW 24/7, and that was a lot of fun to film. So I would like to do more MMA submission-based cage matches in the future. Perhaps one on the main NLW timeline. Who knows? But yeah, that's definitely something I want to do. Maybe even for NLW 24/7 down the line, or even just like as a bonus, like with McGregor and Faber. So definitely something I want to experiment with, that cage fighting, and also just more different styles of pick fetting, So that is it for this podcast. Thank you for listening. If you've got any questions, if you want to buy any merch, let me know. Drop me a message. I can maybe get you a discount code, perhaps. And that is it from me. Thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. I'll catch you guys later.